This is the plaintiff, Leonard Belzer. He says he met the plaintiff at a donut shop. They started talking, and he ended up financing a living room and bedroom set of furniture for her. She also talked him into paying for modeling school, which he later found out she never attended or paid for, and she simply pocketed the money instead. He now realizes he's been duped by the sweetheart swindler and is suing her for the $5,000 she conned him out of. This is the defendant, Amada Yahaya. She says she believes that if someone offers to help you, you accept their generosity. And that's just what she did. The plaintiff saw she had no furniture in her apartment and got her some as a gift. Soon after that, the plaintiff began making overtures like he wanted her as a woman, and that made her uncomfortable. After all, she's 22 and he's in his 50s. Did he really think she was going to be interested in him in that way? Yuck. She's accused of not paying a guy off.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Leonard Belzer, you are suing Amida Yahaya?
Yes.
For $5,000. Your losses actually exceed the statutory amount. You're actually out $7,300 for a bedroom set and living room set that you paid for that you want to be reimbursed. Tell me what's going on, Mr. Belzer.
Well, I met the defendant back in about October, November of 2011 at a retail store, and we talked a little bit. I used to order like coffee or pastry or something like that. We started talking and everything, and just on a friendly basis and stuff like that. And then what happened was, ultimately, I ended up going with her down to Raymore and Flanagan.
To buy her furniture?
Pardon me?
To buy her furniture?
Well, I didn't really want to go down there.
So why did you?
Out of the goodness of my heart, I'm a good guy.
Really?
Yes.
She's a little young for you, don't you think?
Yeah.
She's young for you, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so why are you going to,
I just did
Are you
it.
single?
I'm divorced.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went down there, and one thing led to another, and before you know it, I was signing on the dotted line.
Oh, no, there's a lot that happens in between ordering a pastry and signing on a dotted line. Don't laugh too hard, because I'll be with you in a second. Okay? So there's a whole lot that happens in between ordering a pastry and signing on a dotted line. Mm-hmm. How did you find yourself in this position?
I just got into this position.
It's not that easy.
No, it's not that easy.
Were you trying to date her?
I didn't really have romance on my mind.
But it popped in there at some point?
Well, a lot of things pop and stuff like that.
Glad to hear it. So go ahead.
All right, so we went to the Raymore and Flanagan.
God bless you, Leonard.
And what ended up happening was she started looking at some furniture, and I guess she was in need of furniture. And she didn't have the finances or anything like that. So
Did you?
Well, I'm not a rich guy either, but
you didn't pay for the furniture. You went on a finance plan.
Yes, I went on a finance.
So maybe you shouldn't spend money on some pretty young thing that you don't know whether she's going to return your affections, and certainly not money you don't have.
Right. Well, okay. Well, what ended up happening was they ran a credit check on me. It took about an hour or so, and they figured out that I could afford to sign on the dotted line and finance the furniture. Okay, so that's one part.
Do you have children?
2 grown-up daughters.
Do they know about this?
No.
They're gonna now. I don't know how to break it to you. Go ahead.
All right, so.
Do they know you're here?
No.
Okay.
No. So what ended.
Can I have their number?
So what ended up happening was I signed for the furniture. But at the same time, I knew that the defendant had aspirations of being a model. So we talked about things, and the ultimate goal was I was going to start her out with this, but when she became a model and started making money, she would take over the payments.
Of the furniture?
Of the furniture. I have to make monthly payments on the furniture. Every month I pay $203.28.
Oh my
and I've
goodness.
done this 15 times, which adds up to about $3,100.
Why would you do such a thing? Why would you do this?
Well, one of the reasons I did it out of the goodness of my heart.
No. Stop. There's no goodness of your heart.
Okay.
Because the minute that she didn't return did you get the impression he liked you?
Yeah.
How?
He made it very clear.
What did he say?
I want you to be my woman.
Oh, that's pretty clear.
Stuff like that. He
Who's
made
the
it
guy
very
with
clear. That's a friend of mine.
Okay.
I was
And?
nervous to come along, so I
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
He made it very clear. It was nothing. At first, he didn't because I guess he didn't want to like scare me off. Obviously, the age difference.
Oh,
But then
what's the
once-
age difference, by the way?
I'm 20. He's
20.
I think 55 or 54.
He's not 55 or 54. How old are you?
65.
Okay, I don't know, but something like that. When we first met, he said, "You're very tall and beautiful. You should be modeling." I said, "Well, it's not that easy. You can't just go and model because you're tall and beautiful." He said, "Well, what's the process?"
Not thank you, being modest. Yeah, I am tall and beautiful. Which you are. Go ahead.
He says, "Well, what's the process?" I said, "Well, first you got to go to a modeling school. You got to do."
Did you
this
pay
and
for a
that."
modeling school for her?
Yes, I did.
So
Did he send you to modeling school?
He took me there.
He took you there? He pays for a course, and did you do the course?
I did, but I never got to finish.
Why?
At some point, he wasn't able. It's like a 15-minute drive from my house. I don't have a car. Well, I didn't have a car at the time.
Oh, it's not enough for you that he pays for it for you? You can't figure out your way in public transportation to the place? To get this opportunity? I mean, you're clearly opportunistic. There's no
Right.
question about it. So you had this good opportunity where he's already paid for the modeling course. You could finish the modeling course, but you couldn't follow through on that and just finish it because public transportation is beneath you? What?
He took me a couple of times, but most of the times, friends of mine would take me.
So why didn't you finish?
I didn't finish because once he started making the moves, and I would be like,
Which
no,
you didn't see
like-
coming, right?
Right.
You didn't see it coming?
And he stopped.
You didn't see it coming?
No.
You didn't see it coming. What do you think a 65-year-old man wants with you? Your sparkling conversation, your vast and storied past life and history, your great experience traveling the world? You're 20. You know darn well what the man wanted, all right? He knows what he wanted. The only person who doesn't know are the two daughters. Who, for their sake, I hope watch People's Court. Yet another reason why you ought to watch a People's Court, because you have no clue what you're going to find out. Oh my gosh.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So who's worse, him or her? What do you think?
Oh, probably him, because he should know better.
Well, that's interesting you say that. Everybody, huh?
Yeah, both of them.
Well, no, you have to choose one or the other. You can't say both of them. Him or her?
Him.
Because?
Because he has to wear and
Oh, yeah, but she's using him.
It's the girl. She's using him.
I mean, okay, but he's allowing himself to be used.
She's using him more.
Okay, but it seems like the guy a lot of people think. We're going to go inside the courtroom.
Mr. Belzer, what happened here? You're bestowing a bunch of gifts on the pretty young thing, and then when you make your intentions known, the pretty young thing says, ew. And then now you feel like a dunce for paying $200. You got 200 reasons to hate yourself and regret every single month. Where's the surprise? What does she owe you? Because I'm looking at your letter to her after all was said and done, where you're saying, please, please, I can't afford this. Will you just take over? That's not, hey, you were supposed to pay me. What's going on? You owe me money. That wasn't what it was, because you and I both know that wasn't what it was. You were hoping for things, and it felt like a good expenditure at the time. Well, guess what? It wasn't, because the only reason that she was accepting your gifts is because she could. Because you were offering them. You see? And maybe you can try to lie in your mind and think you're a good person and say, well, it was just a friend and I'm in need. No one's in need of $7,000 furniture, sweetheart. Okay? That's not a necessity. That's not, I'm going through a tough time. You guys don't know what going through a tough time is. All right? If you're getting $7,000 furniture, you don't know a tough time. It's an insult to everyone who actually is going through a tough time. What it was an opportunity that you saw and you seized. And there are some people in this world who may say, hats off to you. Why not? If you see it, seize it. But there are some people like me who don't think like that, because I think that you're going to have to answer to somebody someday. You're going to have to answer to a higher being who's going to look at you and say, why would you take advantage of somebody like that? Because here's a guy who now has to pay these payments every month. Okay? The furniture, frankly, in my opinion, should end up being returned if you have a conscience. I can't force you to do it because I believe it was a gift, just like your position is. And then that way your payments will end up being less as you finish and try to catch up and do some kind of triage here. How many more years of payments did you obligate yourself for, Mr. Belzer?
The amount of money that's owed right now is slightly over $5,000. What happened was Wells Fargo added interest on.
Oh, look at that. We didn't see that coming. We thought we could borrow money for free. Yeah, that's what happens. That $3,000 furniture turns into $7,000 furniture when it's financed. That's why you go to a flea market. If someone's in need, you go to a flea market and you buy a couple used pieces for a couple $100 because they're in need. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for taking advantage of it. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself for being taken advantage of. And you ought to take it as a life lesson, because I am not going to convert your gift into a loan because you've thought better of it. What do you do for a living?
I'm an accountant.
You're an accountant. You're the kind of man who knows how to get a promissory note, right? You deal in receipts and proof. And there is none here because this wasn't a loan. It was a gift. And if it's a gift, I cannot order her to pay you, regardless of how you feel about the fact that you shouldn't have made the gift. Take it as a lesson learned. We continue to learn from the day we walk into this earth till the day we leave. Verdict for the defendant.
Thank you.
And so with that, the plaintiff comes out of the courtroom into the hallway here. Step on over here. Have you, even though you're 65, you still learning new lessons?
Oh yeah, I'm learning.
What'd you learn about this one?
You can't trust people.
All right, well, a lesson learned. You head right down there, and here's the defendant. You feel bad about the situation?
Like I said, it was a gift, so I shouldn't have to feel bad.
No, you don't feel like you took advantage of him?
Not really. I never put a gun to his head for anything.
No, but you didn't have to say yes either.
When you need something, you have no choice but to say yes. So it's, like I said, I don't feel bad for anything because I don't feel like I took advantage of him at all.
Okay. Harvey.
You know, I've been doing people's court for a long time, and I've seen a lot of these cases. And let me just tell you that there is a truism here, that if you get into a relationship and you try to buy the other person's love, it will never work out. And ironically, the other person will end up resenting you. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.